Roblox has been around for nearly 20 years, and in that time, it built up some of the most infamous hacker names in gaming history. Names that spread through games, YouTube comments, and school hallways. Some of these hackers were completely real, some were myths that never existed, and some were somewhere in between. Here's every famous Roblox hacker explained. 1x1x1x1. There's no name in Roblox hacker history more famous than 1x1x1x1. This account has been talked about since the earliest days of the platform, and the myth only got bigger with every year that passed. The story goes that 1x1x1x1 was a rogue hacker operating inside Roblox since 2008 and 2009. Not just someone who knew how to exploit games, but someone with direct access to Roblox's back-end systems who could corrupt entire servers from the inside and target specific players without ever being caught. Some versions even claimed 1x1x1x1 was an AI that Roblox built to test their own security, which then turned rogue and went after the platform itself. The account is real, but almost everything attached to it is not. What most people never knew is that a Roblox administrator named Telemon wrote a fictional story about 1x1x1x1 on the forums. It was clearly creative writing it, but players found it, stripped it of all context, and started treating it as fact. That one piece of fiction became the foundation of the entire myth, and most people spreading it had no idea they were repeating something a Roblox employee made up for fun. The real account was almost certainly a dormant test profile from the platform's earliest days. The glitches players blamed on it were just standard early Roblox instability. The game broke constantly back then for completely normal reasons. None of that stopped 1x1x1x1 from becoming the most iconic name in Roblox hacker history. At this point, it is less of a hacker and more of a character, and with its own games, fan fiction, and a permanent place in the platform's culture that no amount of debunking will ever erase. Ellernate. Ellernate is one of the few names on this list that belongs to a genuinely real hacker who caused genuinely real damage. Ellernate became well known in the exploiting community during the early 2000s. Unlike 1x1x1x1, Ellernate's reputation was built on things that actually happened, documented by real players at the time. What separated Ellernate from most exploiters of that era was the level of skill involved. The average person running exploits back then was just downloading scripts built by someone else and pressing them. Ellernate actually understood how Roblox's systems worked at a technical level, which is exactly why the name carried real weight in those circles, rather than just being another banned account nobody remembered. Over time, the activity slowed and then stopped entirely. The account faded the way most early Roblox figures did, quietly, without a dramatic ending, leaving behind a reputation that newer players inherited without always knowing what actually happened. Ellernate is one of the rare cases in this history where the myth and reality ended up being genuinely close to each other. The hacker was real, the skill was real, and the reputation was earned. Merely is one of the most complicated figures on this list because Merely was never a traditional outsider hacker, and that is exactly what makes the story interesting. Merely was a highly skilled developer and scripter who had real standing in the Roblox community during the mid-2000s. Legitimately talented, well-respected, exactly the kind of technical user the platform was built to attract, but merely became associated with incidents involving unauthorized access and manipulation of platform-level systems, which brought direct attention from Roblox's security team and significant backlash from the community. What makes this case stand out is that it sat right on the line between developer and exploiter. When things went wrong with Merely, it was not a story about an anonymous outsider breaking in. It was a story about someone who was trusted, who understood the platform from the inside, and who used that access in ways they were never supposed to. Merely's story is one of the clearest examples in Roblox history of how thin that line actually was, and how fast a reputation built on years of real skill could collapse. Jenna the Killer. Jenna the Killer is one of the most widely shared hacker myths in Roblox history, and it spread almost entirely through YouTube videos during the mid-2000s when creepypasta content was at its peak online. The story claimed Jenna was a hacker who specifically hunted young players, appearing in your game without warning, sending threatening messages, then corrupting your files before disappearing. The name was a direct spin on Jeff the Killer, and the whole myth was built in that same style. Dark backstory, threatening presence, a monster hiding inside the platform waiting for the right victim. Videos of supposed Jenna encounters spread everywhere. Kids posted clips of strange accounts following them, unusual movement, messages that seemed to know things they should not have known. Comment sections flooded with players claiming they had seen the same thing. None of it was real. Jenna the Killer was completely fabricated from the start. The videos were staged with alternate accounts and basic editing. The threatening messages were written by the same people posting the warnings. There was no hacker. There was no account. There was no Jenna. What it actually showed is how easy it was to manufacture a myth on Roblox when the audience was mostly young kids and creepypasta was everywhere online. All it took was a scary name and a few convincing videos. ShedletSky. ShedletSky is the most unique entry on this list because ShedletSky was never a hacker at all. John ShedletSky was a longtime Roblox employee, one of the most senior and publicly visible figures at the company during its early years. He was Roblox's creative director, involved in building many of the core systems that defined the early platform, and genuinely liked by a large portion of the community. This was one of the real faces of Roblox. So how did his name end up in hacker stories? Because of how recognizable he was, his account became a constant target for impersonation. Players would copy his username or avatar, join public games, and claim to be him. From there, they would spread rumors that ShedletSky had gone rogue, was secretly monitoring specific players, or was running hidden experiments on the platform. Others used his name to make their own actions seem officially sanctioned. ShedletSky had nothing to do with any of it. His identity got borrowed and turned into a myth by strangers without him ever being involved. The shadowy version of him that existed in hacker stories was built entirely by other people using his real name as raw material, while the actual person was still showing up to work at the company every day. Tubers93. Tubers93 is the most disturbing name on this list, and not for the reasons most Roblox hacker stories are disturbing. No ghost story elements, no creepypasta angle. This one is disturbing because of what it actually was. Tubers93 became notorious in the mid to late 2000s and 10s, not because of server exploits or technical hacking, but because of the content the account was directly connected to. Tubers93 was associated with the deliberate spread of inappropriate and harmful material being pushed toward young players inside Roblox games. This was not someone chasing a scary reputation. This was someone using a children's platform to get harmful content in front of children. The name spread through the community as a genuine safety warning, not a cool hacker story. Parents shared it, teachers shared it, kids warned each other in game chats. Roblox eventually removed the account and took steps to address the methods being used, but the incident became a lasting reference point in criticism of Roblox's moderation and how slowly the platform responded to protecting its youngest users. This one deserves to be remembered differently from all the others, not as folklore, as a real failure that happened to real kids. Some of these hackers were real, some never existed, and some built an entire reputation out of nothing but fear. But as long as Roblox is around, the names will keep coming.